There are so many islands in the world, places too dangerous, too remote, or even too bizarre for anyone to call home. These are the fragments of continents, the tips of submerged volcanoes, the silent accumulations of coral over millennia. They are scattered across the vast blue canvas of our planet, each a world unto itself, governed by forces far older and more patient than humankind. Some were touched by human ambition, only to be reclaimed. Others have remained forever wild, their shores untouched by the footprints of settlement. They are fortresses of solitude, cradles of unique life, and sometimes tombs of forgotten dreams. In these isolated realms, nature persists in its purest, most formidable forms. Here, the wind and waves are the only architects, and the calls of seabirds are the only anthems. Humanity, for all its ingenuity and resilience, has been kept at bay by sheer cliffs, toxic air, venomous inhabitants, or the simple overwhelming power of isolation. What stories do these lonely lands hold? What secrets are whispered on their windswept coasts? These are 20 of the strangest islands that no one lives on, forgotten worlds where humanity has been driven away. We will journey to these lost territories, from the crumbling coral cities of the Red Sea to the poison-fumed slopes of Japanese volcanoes and the snake-infested shores of the Atlantic. We will explore places where history has left scars too deep to heal and where nature has erected barriers too high to overcome. Each island is a chapter in a much larger story, a testament to the enduring power of the wild and the fleeting nature of human dominion. Join me as we uncover the mysteries of these silent, solitary kingdoms. Our journey begins in the Red Sea, off the coast of Sudan. Here lies Suakin Island, a place that was not always silent. For centuries, this was a vibrant nexus of trade, a bustling port where cultures and fortunes met. Its people built a city not of stone or wood, but of coral, quarrying the very reef it stood upon to create magnificent, intricate buildings. The architecture was a marvel, a testament to a prosperous era when this island was a gateway between Africa and Arabia, its markets alive with the scent of spices and the cacophony of commerce. It was a jewel of the Red Sea, but time, like the tide, is relentless. The world changed, new trade routes opened, and the deep water ports of the modern era rendered Suakin obsolete. The lifeblood of the island drained away, leaving its coral palaces to the mercy of the salt-laced wind and the unyielding sun. Now, it is a ghost city. The ornate balconies and arched windows crumble, their fine details slowly eroding back into the elements from which they were formed. It stands as a haunting monument, a reminder that even the most thriving human enterprises are but a fleeting presence, and that eventually the patient, persistent forces of nature will always reclaim their own. In the very shadow of one of the world's most densely populated cities, New York lies a place deliberately forsaken. North Brother Island, adrift in the East River, holds a dark and sorrowful history. It was chosen for its isolation, a place to banish the afflicted. In the late 19th century, it became a quarantine hospital, a final destination for those suffering from smallpox, tuberculosis, and typhoid. Its most famous resident, Mary Mallon, known as Typhoid Mary, was confined here for decades, a healthy carrier of a deadly disease, imprisoned by a fear she could not comprehend. The island became a symbol of exile and despair. After the hospitals closed, the island had a brief, failed life as housing for war veterans and later a treatment center for adolescent drug addicts. But its legacy of suffering seemed to cling to its soil. When the facility was abandoned in the 1960s, it was left to decay. Nature has since moved in with a quiet, inexorable force. Vines smother the brickwork of the old wards, and trees grow through the roofs of collapsed buildings. It is now a designated bird sanctuary, strictly off-limits to the public. The ghosts of its past are watched over only by nesting herons, a silent, overgrown memorial to human suffering, slowly being erased by the green tide. In the Izu archipelago south of Tokyo lies Miyakejima, an island that breathes poison. This is a land shaped by the raw, untamable power of the earth. At its heart lies Mount Oyama, an active volcano that dictates the rhythm of life and death here. In the year 2000, a series of eruptions tore the island apart, spewing vast, lethal clouds of sulfuric gas into the atmosphere. The air became unbreathable, a toxic soup that forced the evacuation of every single resident. For 4 long years, Miyakejima was a true ghost island, shrouded in a poisonous fog. Eventually, the gas levels subsided enough for some to return, but the danger never truly left. Even today, residents must carry gas masks at all times, ready for the silent, unseen threat to rise again from the Earth's depths. Alarms can sound at any moment, warning of a spike in toxic emissions. Much of the island remains deserted, a stark landscape of volcanic rock and withered vegetation. It is a powerful, humbling illustration of humanity's precarious existence on a geologically active planet. Here, people live by the volcano's whim, a handful of souls clinging to a home that could turn on them at any moment. Off the coast of Brazil, there is an island so dangerous that the government has forbidden anyone from landing there. It is known as Ilha de Queimada Grande, but it has a more infamous name, Snake Island. This small, rocky outpost is home to one of the highest concentrations of venomous snakes anywhere in the world. And these are not just any snakes. This is the exclusive domain of the golden lancehead viper, a species whose venom is so potent it can melt human flesh. It is a predator at the absolute peak of its evolutionary niche. Legends tell of a lighthouse keeper and his family who were the last to attempt to live here, only to be found dead, overcome by the slithering inhabitants. Another story speaks of a failed attempt to establish a banana plantation, with workers fleeing for their lives. Whether truth or folklore, the message is clear. This island does not welcome us. The snakes, trapped here by rising sea levels thousands of years ago, evolved to hunt the migratory birds that rest on the island, developing their uniquely powerful venom to ensure their prey would not fly away. It is a perfect, terrifying example of isolated evolution, a fortress of nature where humanity is and will always be the trespasser. Drifting in Japan's inland sea is an island with a profoundly schizophrenic identity. Okunoshima, known today as Rabbit Island, presents a picture of disarming innocence. It is overrun by hundreds of friendly feral rabbits, which flock to tourists in search of food. The scene is almost idyllic, a fairy tale brought to life. Visitors come to delight in the charming antics of these furry inhabitants, filling their cameras with images of cuteness against a backdrop of serene coastal beauty. But this gentle facade conceals a history of unimaginable horror. During the Second World War, Okunoshima was erased from maps. It was a top-secret facility, the heart of the Japanese Imperial Army's chemical weapons program. Here, in hidden factories, workers produced thousands of tons of mustard gas and other deadly agents that were unleashed in China. The island was a place of death and secrecy. The origin of the rabbits is debated. Some say they were brought here as test subjects and later released, others that they were introduced by schoolchildren long after the war. Whatever their origin, they now hop freely over the ruins of the poison gas factories. A surreal and unsettling juxtaposition of innocence and evil. A living, breathing paradox. In the vast, churning emptiness of the South Atlantic lies what is officially the most remote island in the world, Bouvet Island. It is a place defined by absence. The nearest landmass is Antarctica, over 1,700 kilometers away. This is not a tropical paradise. It is a fortress of ice and rock, a volcanic peak almost entirely draped in a thick permanent glacier. Its cliffs rise sheer from the storm-tossed ocean, offering almost no safe harbor. The weather is a relentless assault of freezing winds and perpetual cloud cover. Discovered in 1739 and not seen again for over 60 years, its existence was once debated. It is a Norwegian territory, yet no one has ever established a permanent settlement here. The challenges are simply too great. The only signs of a human visit are an automated weather station and the mysterious, unsubstantiated report of a derelict lifeboat found there in the 1960s. A puzzle that has never been solved. Bouvet Island is a testament to the sheer scale of our planet's wildness. It is a place for seals, penguins, and seabirds, a world apart, existing in a profound and permanent state of isolation. In the serene waters of the Venetian lagoon, just a short distance from the bustling canals of Venice, lies Poveglia Island, a place, honestly, steeped in darkness and sorrow. Its sinister reputation is centuries old. During the bubonic plague, it became a lazaretto, a quarantine station where tens of thousands of plague victims were sent to die, their bodies burned in great pits. The soil itself is said to be composed of the ash and bone of the dead. It was a place of no return, a final, desperate measure to protect the living by exiling the dying. But, the island's grim history did not end there. In the 20th century, a mental asylum was built upon its haunted ground. Legends, perhaps fueled by the island's grim past, tell of a sadistic doctor who performed cruel experiments on his patients before. Driven mad by the ghosts of his victims, he threw himself from the hospital's bell tower. Today, Poveglia is strictly forbidden to visitors. Its buildings are decaying, consumed by ivy and silence. The bell tower still stands, a lonely sentinel over an island that has become a synonym for suffering, a place where the echoes of history are said to be all too real. Off the coast of Nagasaki, Japan, a concrete fortress rises from the sea. This is Hashima Island, more famously known as Gunkanjima, or Battleship Island, for its resemblance to a warship. It was once the most densely populated place on the planet. From the late 19th century until 1974, it was a bustling undersea coal mining facility, a self-contained city packed onto a tiny rock. Thousands of workers and their families lived in towering apartment blocks, complete with schools, a hospital, shops, and a cinema, all connected by a labyrinth of stairways and corridors. But when coal was replaced by petroleum, the mine was closed. The thriving city emptied almost overnight. In a matter of weeks, a place teeming with life became a concrete ghost town. The residents left everything behind, and for decades, Hashima was left to the mercy of the typhoons and the salt-filled air. Now, it is a crumbling metropolis, a stark and surreal landscape of the decay. Apartment windows are shattered, revealing rooms where furniture still sits, covered in dust. It is, honestly, a powerful silent monument to Japan's rapid industrialization and the human cost that came with it. A city defeated not by war, but by obsolescence. In a lonely corner of the eastern Pacific Ocean lies Clipperton Island, a tiny ring-shaped coral atoll with a history as tragic as any novel. It is a French territory, yet France has rarely paid it much attention. In the early 20th century, a British company began mining the island for guano, and a small Mexican settlement was established to support the operation. A lighthouse was built, and for a short time, a small community tried to carve out an existence on this remote speck of land, dependent on supply ships from the mainland. But with the turmoil of the Mexican Revolution, the supply ships stopped coming. The islanders were forgotten. Starvation and scurvy set in, and the community slowly withered away. The last surviving man, the lighthouse keeper, declared himself king and began a reign of terror over the remaining women and children before he himself was killed. The few survivors were finally rescued in 1917, ending a harrowing tale of isolation and madness. Today, Clipperton is uninhabited, a place of crabs and seabirds, its lagoon tainted, its shores littered with the debris of the ocean, a silent witness to one of history's most desperate and forgotten tragedies. In the high Canadian Arctic lies Devon Island, a place so vast and desolate it feels like another world. It is the largest uninhabited island on Earth, a polar desert of staggering scale. The landscape is a panorama of barren, reddish-brown plains, deep canyons, and fractured rock, remarkably similar to the surface of Mars. The climate is brutally cold and dry, and for most of the year, it is locked in ice and darkness. Life here clings on at the very margins of existence. A few muskox and small birds and mammals are the only permanent residents. It is this very alienness that has drawn human interest. The Houghton crater, a 23-kilometer-wide impact crater, provides a unique geological analog for Mars. For years, NASA and other space agencies have used Devon Island as a training and research ground for future missions to the Red Planet. Scientists and aspiring astronauts come here to live in simulated habitats, test rovers, and practice exploration techniques in an environment that is as close to extraterrestrial as one can get on Earth. The island remains uninhabited, a practice ground for a future where humanity might one day live on another world as desolate as this one. In the furious latitudes of the subantarctic south of New Zealand lies a windswept and rugged archipelago known as the Antipodes Islands. The name itself speaks of extreme remoteness, a place on the opposite side of the world from London. These volcanic islands are uninhabited by humans. And for good reason. They are battered by relentless westerly winds, shrouded in cold fog, and subject to some of the planet's most inhospitable weather. Access is treacherous, with steep cliffs and a near-constant heavy swell, making any landing a perilous undertaking. Despite the harsh conditions, this is a sanctuary for life that has adapted to the struggle. The islands are a UNESCO World Heritage Site, recognized for their unique biodiversity. They are home to vast colonies of penguins, including the endemic Antipodean and erect crested penguins, as well as numerous species of albatross and petrel that thrive in the stormy conditions. Several shipwrecks litter the history of these islands, tales of castaways fighting for survival in a land of cold and peat. Today, it is a protected nature reserve, a place where the wild reigns supreme, and humanity is merely a temporary, cautious visitor. Situated in the Barents Sea, marking the northernmost point of Norway, is Bear Island, or Bjørnøya. Its name, given by Dutch explorers who saw a polar bear swimming nearby, evokes a sense of raw Arctic wilderness. The island is a starkly beautiful but unforgiving place. The western coast is dominated by towering cliffs that plunge into the frigid sea, while the eastern side is a flat, tundra-like plain dotted with hundreds of shallow lakes. The weather is formidable, with frequent fog, strong winds, and cold temperatures even in summer. Though rich in coal deposits, all attempts at large-scale mining and settlement in the past have failed, defeated by the harsh environment and logistical challenges. Today, the island is uninhabited, save for the handful of staff at a Norwegian meteorological station who rotate in and out. It is a critical nature reserve, a breeding ground for one of the largest seabird colonies in the northern hemisphere. Millions of guillemots, puffins, and kittiwakes crowd its cliffs each summer, their calls echoing across the desolate landscape. Bear Island remains a lonely Arctic bastion, a kingdom of birds on the edge of the habitable world. Far off the coast of Nova Scotia, Canada, a slender crescent of sand rises from the Atlantic Sable Island. It is notoriously known as the Graveyard of the Atlantic, a name earned from the more than 350 recorded shipwrecks caused by its treacherous sandbars and persistent fog. The island is little more than a 42-kilometer-long sand dune, constantly shifting and being reshaped by the wind and waves. It is a place that seems to want to disappear back into the ocean from which it came. Despite its ephemeral nature, Sable Island is home to a famous and resilient population of wild horses. These are the descendants of animals confiscated from Acadians in the 18th century and left on the island. They have adapted remarkably to this harsh environment, surviving on marram grass and freshwater ponds. The island has no trees and is buffeted by severe storms. For this reason, no permanent human settlement has ever succeeded. Today, it is a protected national park reserve with access strictly limited. The wild horses and the world's largest colony of gray seals are its true and only long-term residents. It is a place of stunning, almost surreal beauty, a collection of verdant islets surrounding a series of brilliant turquoise lagoons. It appears to be a tropical paradise, an untouched Eden, and in many ways, it is. The atoll boasts a thriving, intact ecosystem with healthy coral reefs, abundant sharks, and lush native forests. It is one of the few places on Earth where one can see what a coral reef ecosystem looked like before human interference. But Palmyra has a darker side, a reputation for being unsettling, even haunted. During World War II, the United States Navy built an airstrip and base here, and stories from that time speak of a strange, oppressive atmosphere, inexplicable events, and a sense of being watched. These tales were amplified by a notorious murder that occurred here in the 1970s. Some believe the atoll holds a kind of spiritual power, a mana that is both beautiful and menacing. Today, it is a privately owned nature reserve managed by the Nature Conservancy. No one lives here permanently, only visiting scientists and staff, who work in paradise while respecting its deep and lingering mystery. In the Bismarck Sea, part of Papua New Guinea's volatile Ring of Fire, a dramatic story of creation and destruction unfolds. Here lies Vulcan Island, a land born from the fury of the earth. It did not exist until 1937, when a cataclysmic eruption raised it from the seafloor, joining it to the nearby town of Rabaul. For a time, people lived on this new land, part of a thriving community nestled in the shadow of the surrounding volcanoes. It was a testament to human resilience, living on borrowed time in one of the most geologically active regions on the planet. That time ran out in 1994. Vulcan, along with the nearby volcano Tavurvur, erupted with devastating force, burying Rabaul in feet of heavy ash. The town was destroyed, its population forced to flee. The eruption reshaped the landscape once again, a violent reminder of who is truly in charge. Today, while a new town has been built further away, the area around Vulcan remains largely abandoned. It is a gray, ashen wasteland, a landscape of ruin and rebirth. Vulcan Island stands as a potent symbol of the ephemeral nature of the ground beneath our feet, a place given by the volcano and taken away by it just as quickly. Deep in the South Pacific, thousands of kilometers from any major landmass, lies Henderson Island. It's actually one of the world's last two raised coral atolls whose ecosystems have stayed relatively untouched by human contact. As a UNESCO World Heritage Site, its isolation has allowed its unique plants and animals, including 4 land birds found nowhere else, to evolve without disturbance. From a distance it really does seem pristine, a perfect example of a remote island wilderness, almost like a lost world that time forgot. But, well, a closer look reveals a modern tragedy. Even though it's uninhabited and only visited by scientists maybe a few times each decade, Henderson Island's beaches are covered with a truly astonishing amount of plastic debris. Ocean currents have turned this remote sanctuary into, honestly, a dumping ground for the world's waste. It's estimated that 38 million pieces of plastic weighing over 17 tons cover its shores. Fishing nets, bottles, helmets, and countless fragments from countries all over the globe wash up here every day. Henderson Island is, in a way, a shocking and heartbreaking paradox. An island with no people, yet choked by the pollution of all people. It stands as both a pristine wilderness and a toxic landfill, a powerful indictment of our disposable culture. In the far reaches of Alaska's Aleutian Chain, a string of volcanic islands that separate the Bering Sea from the Pacific Ocean, sits Kiska Island. This is a place kind of frozen in time, a silent and fog-shrouded memorial to a forgotten chapter of World War II. Back in 1942, Japanese forces actually occupied Kiska and its neighbor, Attu, the only part of United States territory to be occupied during the war. For over a year, the island was a Japanese naval base, serving as a strategic outpost, in a really brutal and unforgiving theater of war. The Allied campaign to retake the island was costly, and, well, quite strange. After heavy bombardment, American and Canadian forces landed, expecting a bloody battle. But what they found was the island completely deserted. In a masterful maneuver under the cover of thick fog, the Japanese had managed to evacuate their entire garrison just days earlier. The soldiers who landed were left to fight the treacherous terrain and, sadly, the friendly fire incidents that happened in the confusing fog. Today, Kiska is a National Historic Landmark, but it's utterly abandoned. Rusted Japanese artillery, shipwrecks, and collapsed bunkers now litter the landscape, slowly being consumed by the harsh Aleutian weather, a ghostly open-air museum of a distant war. Adrift in the central Pacific Ocean is the low, arid, and sun-scorched Malden Island. It is part of the Republic of Kiribati, but it is utterly desolate and uninhabited. From the air, it appears as a simple, triangular coral island, distinguished only by its briny, landlocked lagoon. For a period in the 19th century, it was mined for guano, and later used by the British for their first hydrogen bomb tests in the 1950s, a grim chapter in its history. But the island's true mystery is far, far older. Scattered across this barren landscape are the remains of mysterious prehistoric structures. There are temple-like platforms, or marae, built from coral slabs, ancient graves, and the remnants of what appear to be old pathways. Who built them? When? And why? No one knows for certain. The island has no fresh water and very little vegetation, making long-term settlement seem almost impossible. Yet these enigmatic ruins suggest a Polynesian culture thrived here, or at least visited for significant ritual purposes, long ago. Malden Island remains a profound archaeological puzzle, a silent testament to a forgotten people who left their mark on one of the most inhospitable places imaginable. Rising dramatically from the Tasman Sea, some 20 kilometers southeast of Lord Howe Island, is a geological marvel Ball's Pyramid. It is not so much an island as a spire, the erosional remnant of a shield volcano that formed millions of years ago. At 562 meters high, it is the tallest volcanic stack in the world, a sheer, jagged needle of rock piercing the sky. Its near-vertical cliffs and knife-edge ridges make it one of the most difficult and dangerous climbs on the planet. For decades, Ball's Pyramid was thought to be entirely barren of higher life forms. It was considered a sterile pinnacle of rock. But in 2001, scientists scaling its treacherous face made an astonishing discovery. Clinging to a single small shrub 100 meters up a sheer cliff, they found a tiny colony of the Lord Howe Island stick insect. This creature, a giant of the insect world growing up to 15 centimeters long, had been declared extinct for over 80 years. Ball's Pyramid had been its last, improbable refuge. This unlivable spire, a place no human could call home, had served as an ark for a species on the very brink of oblivion. We return, for our final chapter, to a place we have already visited, a place so iconic in its desolation, it warrants a second look: Hashima Island. Gunkanjima, the sheer density of its abandonment is what is so captivating. It is not a single ruin, but an entire city of ruins, compressed onto a rock just 16 acres in size. Every structure speaks of a sudden departure, a life interrupted. In the schoolhouse, chalkboards still bear faint traces of their final lessons. In the miners' baths, tiles peel from the walls, where men once washed away the coal dust of their grueling shifts. The island represents a compact, accelerated version of a civilization's rise and fall. It was built with immense effort and ingenuity, a vertical city designed to extract the black wealth from beneath the sea. It functioned, it thrived, it was filled with the sounds of thousands of lives. And then, silence. The decision to close the mine was swift, and the exodus was total. Now, the only sounds are the cry of the gulls and the relentless groan of decaying concrete. Hashima is more than a ruin. It is a profound meditation on the impermanence of our own world, a vision of what our own cities might look like when the systems that sustain them finally fail. From the Serpent's Fortress in the Atlantic to the concrete ghost town in the Sea of Japan, we have journeyed to the edges of the habitable world. We have seen islands abandoned to history, to war, to the very Earth's fury. We have witnessed places too remote for settlement and others too dangerous to approach. Each one, in its own way, tells a story not just about the island itself, but about us. They reveal the limits of our ambition, the consequences of our actions, and the awesome, untamable power of the natural world that endures long after we have gone. These islands are reminders of how nature, history, and danger can drive humanity away, leaving behind silent worlds for us to wonder about. They are sanctuaries for the unique, the resilient, and the forgotten. They are living museums, geological marvels, and somber memorials. While we may map their shores and photograph their ruins, their true essence belongs to the wind, the waves, the birds, and the silence. They are stark illustrations that the world is not entirely ours. There are still places where humanity is just a visitor, and where the wild, in all its beautiful and terrifying power, still reigns supreme. They exist as a vital counterpoint to our crowded, noisy world. They are pockets of deep time where change is measured in the slow erosion of rock and the patient growth of a vine. They challenge us to look beyond our own brief moment, and to appreciate the vast, complex, and mysterious planet we are privileged to inhabit. These 20 islands are but a few of the lonely lands scattered across our oceans, each a silent kingdom holding on to its secrets, waiting for the tides of time to continue their endless work.